Hi, my name is Ruth, and this is Summer Vibes, Devotional number 12. The Leap of Faith. Summertime is movie time. It's one of year when you can binge on all the classics. Indiana Jones is one of those classic movies. Halloween quest for treasure and witty jokes make this 1980s trilogy about archaeology and adventure, and summer must. In third movie, Indiana Jones finds himself standing on one side of the bottomless pit. It's too far to jump and too deep to climb down and back up. Suddenly, a clue begins to ring in his ears. The leap of faith. This particular treasure would require a leap of faith. So Indy closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and takes a terrifying first step into the bottomless pit, only to find sure footing was there all along. We may not be hunting or old artifacts, but like Indiana Jones, we will find ourselves in situations that require a leap of faith. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things unseen." Sometimes we will see the bridge God has provided for you until you take that crazy first step into seemingly bottomless pit. Every story recounted in Hebrews 11 involves a man or a woman obeying God before they knew the outcome of their actions. When we read these stories thousands of years later, it's easy to forget that the men and women in the Bible were ordinary people just like us. Faith is always scary. Faith always costs something, and a step of faith always runs the risk of leaving you look like a foolish. But the only kind of faith God wants us, the bigger the risk, the more glory we will give Him, and the more our faith grows as a result. What leap of faith is God calling you to take? When have you taken a leap of faith, seeing God come through for you? What does God promise to you, to people who trust in Him? Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancestors were commanded for. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings, and by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. By faith, Enoch was taken from his life, so that he did not experience death. He could not be found, because God has taken him away. Therefore, he was taken. He was commanded as one of who please God, and without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to Him must believe that He exists, and that He rewards those who earnestly seek him. By faith Noah then warned about things not yet seen. In holy fear built an ark to save his family. By this faith he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness that it is keeping with faith. And by faith Abraham, when called to go to a place where he would receive later an inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. By faith he made his home in that promised land. Like a stranger in a foreign country, he lived in tents, as did Jacob and Isaac, who were heirs of him and same promise, for he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose archers and builder is God. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful, he who had made the promise. And so this one man, he was a good at deed, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and countless as the sand on the seahorse. All these people were living by faith when they died. They did not receive things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. People who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had the opportunity to return, but instead they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he was prepared a city for them. By faith Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as an sacrifice. He who embraced the promise was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God had said to him, "It is thought, Isaac, that your offspring will be renowned." Abraham reasoned that could even raise the dead, so in a matter of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from the dead. But faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regard to their future. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshipped as he leaned on the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of Israel from Egypt and gave instructions concerning of the burial of his bones. By faith Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because they saw who was no ordinary child. They were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith Moses, when he grew up, refused to know as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated among the people of God rather than enjoy fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded his great disgrace for the sake of Christ as greater value than treasures of Egypt, because he was looking ahead to his reward. By faith he left Egypt, not fearing the king of anger. He persevered because he saw who is invisible. By faith he kept the Passover an application of blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. By faith the people passed through the Red Sea as on dry land. Then, when the Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell, after the army had marched around them for 7 days. By faith the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, not be, not killed those who were disobeyed, and those who more shall I say. I do not have time to tell about Gibeon, Barak, Samson, and Nepthon, about David and Samuel and the prophets who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fury of the flames, escaped, escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned to strength, and who became powerful in battle, routed foreigner armies. Women received back their dead, praised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refused to be released, so that they might gain even better resurrection. Some faced jeers, flogging, and even chains, imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed by the sword. They went in by sheepskins and goatskins, disluted, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in deserts and mountains, lived in caves and holes in the ground. These were all commended for their faith, yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, not that only together with us would they be made perfect. Hebrews 11:1-40. Be blessed is that the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. They will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out roots. By the stream it's not fear when heat comes, its leaves are always green. It has no worries in a year of drought, and never fails to bear fruit. Jeremiah 17:7-8. I hope you have a blessed day. See you on the next one. Bye.